talk to you today about image. And, as much as we'd like to think music is all about the music, in reality, I hate to say it, but image is kind of everything. And I know I'd like to get a lot of comments on this video and let me know what you think about it. But man, it doesn't matter what genre you're trying to play, whether you're a rock musician or metal or blues or country or any of those things, man. There's certain images, there's certain outfits, there's certain uniforms that every musician that plays that type of music has to have. And, it's important to develop your image. If you're a young guy and you're starting out, and whether you're playing guitar on your Instagram or TikTok or any of that stuff, man, image is very important. And so, the reality is this. Image is something that needs to be an extension of who you are. Don't try to be something that you're not. Don't try, look, if you're not the best looking guy in the world, don't try to be, Mr. Suave and all this. I mean, use what you have, use your strengths, and use your personal experiences to explode that into an image that people can relate to. Now, if people want to see a show, the reality is this. People sometimes listen with their eyes. And you could be playing the most incredible guitar solo in the world. But if you're just standing there and you're boring to watch and you don't have a good, style and you don't have any swag or you don't have any personality in your playing, people aren't going to relate to it. And that's the reality. It's not just image. It's swag, it's style, it's personality. You've got to learn how to harness your personality, your image, your natural aura. Harness your natural aura so that when you're playing, you can project that aura. And, like back in the day when I was a young, good-looking kid and I was on stage, man, I would go out there and I'd see, all the, good looking, young ladies out there. And I'd try to get that aura and I'd have that, put that whole vibe out, look at them all like they could be your next, and just portray that, have that swagger, have that, aura, and have that image that you portray out to the crowd. And man, the Sunset Strip was rife with that, man. The best bands could project that aura and pack those clubs on the Sunset Strip. And man, everybody, put an effort back then into image. That's the one thing you could say the Sunset Strip, it was too much of a focus on image and not enough focus on the music. But, even if it's grunge, man, if you had been playing grunge music, but you were dressed too nice and it wasn't believable because you looked like you'd spent, 3 hours at the salon, it doesn't work. If you're a blues guitar player, that is a certain image as well. And, you can't, you can be a little more everyday common man on a blues gig, but if you dress it up, look at Stevie Ray Vaughan, and he had his his hats and, his large straps and his kind of Texas kind of vibe, Texas sort of gunslinging guitar player kind of vibe. And then, man, it was a huge image, and people see that image and see him playing and putting that intensity into it. But if you'd just been an average Joe that just showed up in a t-shirt and jeans and holy hum and come out there and played his butt off, man, he might not have blown up as big as he did. Stevie Ray Vaughan had a certain swagger. He had a certain style to what he did. And, it helped elevate his career. Now, you can notice some musicians that I think were begrudgingly dragged into the image category. And I would put Edward Van Halen in that. I think, early Van Halen, before David Lee Roth joined the band, Eddie was content with just playing his guitar and showing up in whatever dungarees and some kind of shirt and not worrying about his hair and all that. And, if you read Greg Renoff's book, Van Halen Rising, you'll hear how David Lee Roth had to, hey, everybody encourage Eddie when he walks in with this new haircut. And hey, Eddie, Eddie, it looks really good what you've done with your hair. And encouraged him to dress up and encouraged the image. Because without that image, that Eddie Van Halen could have been just another unknown, incredible guitar player, hero of Pasadena, but maybe not exploded on the world. He captured something, but because of that image that Van Halen put out, and I believe David Lee Roth was a huge catalyst in that. He was obviously very image drawn, very swag drawn, and very much able to create something that could sell. You almost think about it as creating a cartoon character. I used to think a lot of the 90s bands didn't have that factor. And, I remember, hearing Nickelback a lot when in that era. And, they had a lot of hit songs, but it seemed like image-wise, they were pretty generic, except for the singer when he had his long hair and that kind of goatee thing he was rocking for a while. I mean, he kind of became the face, but they didn't have as much, say, image and style as, say, Guns N' Roses, who you could draw a cartoon of Slash and people would know exactly who it is. You could draw a cartoon of Axl Rose and know exactly who it is. You could draw a cartoon of Keith Richards and know exactly how it is. Look at there's a Aerosmith album cover where they're like a cartoon on it. Is that what's the name of it? Is it Draw the Line? Let me know in the comments that album cover. But they're all caricatures, and I think if you're gonna build a band, this is something to think about. Make each guy have an iconic look. Enhance whatever natural things, or if, look, Mick Jagger has big lips. So obviously, if they're going to draw a cartoon of Mick Jagger, it's going to be, it's going to be something like that. But that's his natural thing. So imagine a cartoon is just going to take what he has and blow it up. And it's the same thing with an image. Take what's natural to you and blow it up. Make it bigger than life. For me, I would, in the Sunset Strip days, I wasn't over the top with that stuff because I was kind of a fish out of water. I'm from Virginia. I didn't know. But man, now that I think about it, if I'd have gone out there and just I would have gone full on image. I would have dyed the hair jet black right from the get-go. I would have had it grown out. I would have had the eye makeup on. I would have gone, totally in that direction. But I was very much just kind of a guy that just wanted to play his guitar. So I was lucky. I was young and relatively decent looking enough that that's kind of all I had to do, and grow the hair out a little bit. But man, now that I know what I know now about image and how important it is, I would have worked harder on the image. I would have worked harder on the collective band image. I would have worked harder on the brand. It's a brand. If you're in a band, if you're in a band, add an R to it, and it's a brand. It is like Dial soap. It is like Ivory liquid. It is like Palmolive. And think about your logo, think about your brand, think about your look, think about your image, think about what you say between songs. Look, if you do all these things that I'm telling you now, and I hope there's one young band leader out there, one guy with a vision that hears this message and goes, man, this is the blueprint. Everything from each guy's band name to each guy's image to each guy's, each guy could individually have a logo. Imagine that. Imagine if you could, look at Kiss. There were 4 very marketable images. And look how they each put out solo albums. What an ingenious concept. And each guy, I mean, if those solo albums had maybe been better from each guy, you could have had 4 separate solo acts touring, Space Ace on tour, and each guy could have kept their brand and gone on to do that and then come back together. If they'd have all kind of been able to keep it together, they could have then all come back together, blown up the big brand again, then go off, do solo. But, as we know with Kiss, a couple of guys lost their brand. They lost their image. They sold their image to the corporation. And now Kiss doesn't even own Kiss. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley have sold the likeness and the rights and all that stuff. But man, take that as a blueprint. And I think they were a blueprint for a lot of acts, whether it's, Alice Cooper as well. Created a great image, a very marketable thing, a very marketable brand. And, it's the same thing with these country guys, these modern country guys, Look at, say, Montgomery Gentry. And you had the one guy he kind of dressed like the Hamburglar. He had the big hat and he wore the long trench coat, leather trench coat. He looked kind of like the Hamburglar. And then you had the good looking, cowboy guy, next to him. And then compare that to Florida Georgia Line. Florida Georgia Line. One guy would wear the hat and the other guy would be the regular Joe, kind of thing. And that's branding, man. That's image. That's figuring out like, how can we, we're together, but how can we each stand apart? Each guy has to be a piece in that puzzle. And when you're big, when you blow up like that, you end up hiring stylists and image consultants and all that stuff. But man, if you can do all that stuff on your own, then you're going to save yourself a lot of money. You're going to get there quicker. You're going to blow up faster. One viral video imagine this. Let's say you're a young guy right now and you've got your garage band or you've got some friends and you're putting together a band and you're going, let's shoot a music video. And instead of just, playing your song and okay, that's it. What if you put a lot of thought into your image and what each guy's gonna wear? But don't make it unnatural. Don't put the awkward guy, don't put him in something that he can't squeeze into. Make it work for each guy. But imagine if you had put all those elements together. You got each guy's name defined. You've got each guy's brand defined. And it's a cohesive package that's put together and becomes this powerful force that can really just blow up, man. If I see a band, and I'll be looking. And if there's any out there, let me know in the comments. But if I see a band that's cohesive, that's got an image, that's got a great sound, that has a great name, a great logo, and great merchandise, and has it all together, man, that is something that can take on the world. That is a powerful force. And man, the power of image, the power of swag, the power of rock and roll or country or blues or whatever genre that you choose to play. If you match the talent with an incredible image, then you've got something that can take on the world, brother.